Hello, I'm Patrick Dooley. I'm the Senior Product Manager over GitLab's ecosystem team. This is the 12.9 kickoff. We're going to talk about the work that we're doing over the next month for the 12.9 release. The first thing I want to talk about is a really big piece of work that if you've watched the last couple of kickoff videos, we've been talking about for a while. So we're working on a big piece of work that'll bring integrations to the instance and group level. So if you have, say, thousands of projects, right now what you have to do is integrate each one of those projects individually. So let's say you have JIRA, you're using JIRA for your project management. You're going to have to set up that integration thousands of times. Some of our users have done things like set up a bunch of API scripts to go through and manage that, but that's just not the right way to do things. So the epic that we've been working on will bring this integration so that you can do it once at the instance level, and then all projects on that instance will use it, or at the group level. So this particular work item is looking at the admin page for the instance level. So adding that, right now we have a concept called service templates, which is similar, but taking that and creating the integrations page instead. So this will be essential for actually being able to configure it. Then we also have a piece of work for setting up inheritance for project integrations at the instance level. So the idea being that instance level integration works, you've installed it, it's going. Now the projects themselves need to inherit those configuration settings. So this is the work item for that. And we have a group level integration MVC. So right now, because of some necessities of how our backend works, we've been working on the instance level integration. This is the MVC for the group level integration. So taking that same functionality, those same features in the same code base, and then reworking it to also work at the group level. Then because of how service templates historically have worked, and as a really brief recap, service templates live at the instance level, which means they're not available for people at gitlab.com. But for an admin of a self-hosted environment, you can create service templates, and when you create a new project, that project will have the settings from the service template applied. Now, what happens if you change your, say, token for your integration? You've got to go change it on all of those projects. And then additionally, existing projects don't benefit from that. So the plan is to migrate towards integrations like these inherited values integrations and move away from service templates. So we want to put together a warning on the service template page, warning admins that this feature is deprecated or being deprecated soon. We don't have a timeline for that. We don't have a schedule. Really, we want to put this on there to give people as much awareness as possible and try to solicit some feedback on that. And of course, if you have any feedback, reach out, leave a comment, get in touch with the team. We'd love to hear more about how you're using service templates and why that's the better choice for you. And finally, some more back-end work we're doing. We need to add the instance attribute to the service model. And this will allow us to do some more of the work that is required for getting together those instance level integrations. So that's kind of the first major theme. So we're working through a number of issues that all have to do with these instance level integrations. And we're hoping that in 12.9 we can get the majority of the instance level work done and out to the users. And then in 12.10 and 13.0 we'll be able to roll that out at the group level as well. So the last piece of it is some data collection. We need to add telemetry into usage ping for instance level integrations. So that as we roll all that work out, we'll be able to capture that data and see how people are using it and better understand where we can focus our time. So that's theme one. Theme two is, of course, JIRA is a high priority. That's what kicked off all of this group level work in the first place. But additionally, we've got some problems. So about a month ago, somebody opened up an issue that the JIRA integration has not been working since they're upgraded 12.6.2. If you have any information about this, we would love to learn more about your use case. Our team has dug into it. They've worked really hard to try to solve it. We've been unable to figure it out so far. So in 12.8, we actually rolled out some telemetry to add some more logs. to the JIRA integration so that we can better understand why this error is happening and hopefully troubleshoot that soon. So again, if you are seeing this problem, if you're seeing this particular error, please chime in this issue. We're also looking at some improvements to JIRA. So we had a really interesting case where there were 4 issues here that all touched on the same thing. And I think we talked about this a little bit in the last kickoff. We wanted to try to solve all 4 of these problems with a single design solution. So a lot of them were asking for customization, wanted to make changes to what the template for comments looked like in JIRA. And so Libor, our UX designer, has done a great job kind of thinking through those and working through a single solution that tries to fit all 4. And I don't know if it'll work, but in the spirit of iteration, we want to at least try to solve those with one better message and then kind of revisit the idea around customization or templating of those things. Additionally, we've been working for a while now on making JIRA Transition IDs easier to configure. We've been trying to come up with a design for that. The team has dug into the backend architecture required, looked at the JIRA APIs, trying to understand what data is available. It's kind of a tough nut to crack, but we think we've got a plan to go forward. So in 12.9, we'll be trying to implement that first version of that. And the idea being, again, to recap, I know we've touched on this in a couple of kickoffs talking about transition IDs, but the problem with transition IDs right now is, I don't think I have a screenshot in here. I do. So right now, the way transition IDs are configured is just with an integer, right? And that's just not user friendly. It doesn't make any sense. If you're really familiar with JIRA, this maybe makes some sense to you. I can tell you I've been a JIRA admin at a couple of different jobs for a number of years. I had no idea transitions were integers. I would have never known that. And it actually, when I first moved into this role and I had to learn about the job I was supporting, I had to go read about this in the JIRA docs and understand what exactly that even was. So that's not friendly. So we've got some concept designs for grabbing the transition IDs programmatically through the API, surfacing them in there so you can more easily select what's appropriate for you. And then in other work, we have a couple of items that we'll be touching on. Over the last few releases, we've worked on Webhook Limits for projects. So that was to limit possible abuse and to limit or to better support uptime and availability of the application. There were a couple of instances where people had accidentally added thousands of webhooks for their project, and so we needed to be able to have some controls around that. So this work continues that, and we're going to add webhook limits for groups as well. In this thread, you can kind of see some of the detail behind it. The very short version of it is we've decided on a limit of 50 webhooks, and I can say broadly, no one using GitLab.com currently has more than 50 webhook limits. More than 50 webhooks on a group, and this change will only apply to GitLab.com. So this should affect absolutely no one, and considering there's many years of data in there around that, I think that'll be a great sane default that'll also prevent abuse and improve performance. And then finally, we had a really popular proposal for being able to ping multiple channels in Slack. So Justin has been working on an MR for this. I think he's actually pretty far along, so we're hoping we can see this released here in the next few weeks. But this change is pretty small, but it's a big impact. So being able to send a notification to multiple channels in Slack is the change here, and I think that'll be really valuable for some people who are using the integration that way. So that's it for 12.9. Thanks a lot for watching. If you have any feedback, any comments, any desired features, anything you'd like to talk to us about, please reach out in the issues, in our epics, and of course you can leave a comment here. Have a good one. Bye.